And we're off to the races, as I normally say. Welcome to another Almost Famous radio podcast with yours truly, Jim Francis. Each week, I bring you a very colorful person, a person that's done so much and is about to showcase their talents, delineate all their wonderful things, the wonderfulness of that. And today is one for the books, most definitely, because I have a person that loves to help others. They like to be introspective and look from within to be able to connect with others and connect with people. And connect tonight, we shall find out more about the healing power and, other amazing superpowers, I like to call it. As we're going to talk about Reiki. We're going to talk about somatic, not psychosomatic, although that can happen, right? Somatic healing. Oh, I'm going to hear all about this wonderful journey of this wonderful lady we have on. You guys, it is my pleasure, my distinct pleasure. How about that? To welcome to the stage none other than the person from the Rocky Mountains to Woodland Hills to LA to Calabasas to Malibu. Ladies, let us welcome the Graceful Healer, Shannon Grace. How about that?
That was the best welcome I've ever had in my entire life. Seriously.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know why? Because it is somebody once so beautifully and masterfully said it, that when two wonderful souls collide, magic happens, almost like a supernova.
Yes. Boom. And I feel it coming from the screen, and I'm like, wow, this is going to be not only fun, but you're going to educate people, and I'm of service, you're of service. And when that is combined, it's just like sparks are going to fly. How can it not?
Yes, absolutely. So Shannon, I am beyond grateful to have you on. First and foremost, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
And second, the pleasure's all mine. You are coming from the world of healing, but you weren't always a healer. I want to find out how all that came about, because I kind of do know, but I want the viewership to discover this almost inch by inch. As we delve into it more and more, we'll peel back at the layers, and then you will discover all the wonderfulness. But you come from a tech world. So you were creating businesses and just putting out a lot of wonderful businesses out there. And then, of course, COVID hit, right? Yes. Can you sort of shed light on how was that like? I mean, you started creating these businesses in the tech world. Did you work for somebody?
I worked for somebody. And so I started out in the tech world selling voice over IP technology, and worked my way up pretty quickly through the corporate ladder. Mm-hmm. And, won President's Clubs, got to go to St. John's a couple times and got the trophy and the bonuses, and it was all great. And when you're young, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're told you're supposed to do. Right. And when you're young, you're still trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do. And so I got married young and had 2 children. And so once my second was born, Jameson was born, I decided to stay home because I didn't want the nanny to raise my kids. I wanted to raise my kids. And so I couldn't sit still, I guess. I always just had creative stuff coming up. And so I was in yoga class one day, and I was like, there is a product for these tight yoga pants that you kind of need a little extra coverage. So I went to the mall and I researched, and there was nothing out there. So I was like, I'm going to invent my own thing. But I'm not an inventor. I'm not like a quote unquote business person. I'm just a stay-at-home mom at this point. And I come up with a prototype. I take a year to make it, like in my basement, and I try it on. I had to go to the gym, and I'm like, oh my God, this actually works.
Did you put on a lab coat?
Totally.
You were down there.
I'm like, it's secret. Nobody can see.
Yeah.
You
got to get it. You got to patent, right? You got to patent it.
Yes. I have 3 patents and trademark, and I launched my business from concept to actually having something in my hand. And then I did my own marketing. And so that's where I got into the Howard Stern show and the doctors, and Dr. Oz reached out to me. Chelsea Handler, I was like, okay, so you get creative when you're like, okay, I don't have tons of money and it's just my mind right now. And what can I do?
Beautiful.
So I wrote her a handwritten letter, and Chelsea? I made fun of her. Chelsea Handler, I made fun of her. I'm like, she came to Denver. I saw her
There's a
show.
connection. Here's a connection before you continue. Ready? I was a good friends with Chewy. Bravo.
No, you
Good friend of
were.
Chewy. Now we're gonna do a show. Jim and Chewy.
Chewy burrito. Oh,
Burrito nugget. Remember?
Nugget. Sorry, not burrito.
Burrito because he's Mexican. Hey, I'm Mexican, so you're good. Funny. That was good.
No, because he was that big.
He's tiny. He was like a little burrito.
Yeah, he was like a little burrito. That's what I was thinking in my mind.
He was hysterical. Wasn't he funny? He's funny.
So
guy,
funny, just naturally funny. And then they were such a great team. So I used to watch that show, and I still like her stand up now is hilarious. I'm like, I love her sense of humor. So I knew I had to make it funny, and like, I'm going to make fun of her and tell her she had the biggest camel toe on stage and that she needed my product, which is the no camel toe panty named Camouflage. That was my product.
That's smart. That's so freaking. It's uncanny. It's uncanny. I gotta say.
And I knew she would respond to it, and so I write the handwritten letter. I find out just on Google like where her studio is. I send it to her, and I'm just watching Chelsea lately one night because I watched it every night. Yeah. And she reads the letter and then picks up the product and she read the letter. Thanks, Shannon, for telling me I had a huge camel toe. Here's her product. And I was like, I could not believe that she did that. I was like, oh my God. So learning awesome. That, that's all you have to do is just be, tenacious and perseverance and just keep typing and writing in every different way. And that's how Howard Stern responded. I just kept emailing. And finally, they're like, we need to respond to this broad because she keeps annoying us. And then I got on the show. And
you're prolific.
Yeah. And that's just part of my personality. It's just like, it's grit and perseverance. Yeah. And you just keep going. When you believe in something, you're like, your soul just has you keep going. And you come up with creative ways on how to do it. And so
a lot of it was guerrilla style, is what you're saying. This is guerrilla style.
Guerrilla marketing. Yeah. Yeah, because I couldn't afford to purchase, PR and a marketing company. Like I did everything for my company. And so it had me learn how to do all that stuff for my current business. But COVID shut it down. But, it was just time, I guess, to close that door. And it was sad because when you have a product or a business, it becomes part of your identity. And then when it closes down, you're like, who am I? I don't even know what to do now. Yeah. So that's when I tried to get back into the corporate world. And, my kids were older. I'm older. It's hard to get back in once you exited even if you're like, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I was the president, the CEO, the marketing, the CPA.
All the accolades, everything. All of them.
It doesn't matter because they're hiring kids straight out of college.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would beg the question, but you answered my question. College kids.
They want college kids straight up with no experience. And I'm like,
hey, those little fuckers.
I'm like, you little shit. I can run you around you 10 times and you have your thumb up your ass. And I'm like, I've done all this stuff, but they ignore you. And so I've done real estate, property management, legal recruiting, medical recruiting, med spa sales, selling IT and cybersecurity technology. And I'm like, okay, reflecting one day, I'm like, why do I keep just getting laid off? I don't enjoy, I feel like the soul is being sucked out of my body as I'm sitting on my computer all day, like doing stuff I don't want to do. But what's the answer? And so when you sit there and reflect and you let the answers come in from source, from God, the divine, whatever you want to call it, you have to be quiet in order to hear. And so reflecting one day, I was like, oh, okay, everything that I've done, it hasn't worked out, but I've enjoyed one piece of every single career. It was helping people. And I'm like, I love helping people. Yes, that was a commonality with each career. And so I already loved like esoteric, arcane knowledge, like astrology, mediumship, spirit. Like I love all that stuff. And so I started dabbling, I guess, in trying to learn astrology. And then it led to Reiki. So I got attuned for Reiki. Now I'm a Reiki master. I learned transcendental meditation, which changed my life. Meditating rewired my brain. And then I am a pure bioenergy practitioner, recently somatic energy healing practitioner. I'm still a Reiki master, and then meditation facilitator, breath work, sound healer, death doula. I volunteered for hospice. For some reason, the people dying was calling to me. I don't know why. Sometimes you don't know why things call to you, but I had this inkling to like sit with people who are dying. Yeah,
well,
they were calling me.
We're not dying, though. Yes, you know. Let's at the end of the day, we're transcending. We are crossing over, and I think that you were just there to hold their hand, to kind of help them pass on, if you will, pass to the other side. And that is fabulous. That is beautiful. Yes. Not everyone is you talk about esoteric stuff, like things that only some people can. That's all you. Like, you are very one of a kind. My wife is another person that, mom crossed over in November of this last year.
Oh, so, gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well,
it's hard.
Thank you. But mom was 79 and a half, and we lost her to breast cancer. But mom was very spiritual. We're entire, as I told you, super spiritual. But my wife was there for 3 hours after she had passed. She was there for 3 hours helping out mom, and the people that were coming to take mom. Well, mom wasn't there anymore anyway, but the physical form of mom, to take her.
Yes.
And you know what? It takes a lot for people to be there for hospice. So bless your heart. Thank God for you in many ways. Appreciate you for that. That's very crazy.
Thank you. And your wife. It's special. And you're right. It's not death. And we need to think about now, because we're not consciously dying, and with the shaman, because I studied shamanism too. And
that's right, you're a shaman.
And we're so, yeah. And so I can do death rites when they're dying, and you backwash all of their chakras so their body can finally exit through their crown chakra. Because sometimes spirit, when they're so afraid to die because of religion, they're like, I'm going to go to hell because I stole something when I was 5.
Yeah.
They're scared. And if they've done, so they don't want to go to the light, so they kind of stay and hang around. So the death rites help them get out of the body and tell them.
I see what you mean by that. Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're doing quite a bit of good in this world.
Yeah,
I mean, more about it. So, do you do Reiki also?
Thank
you said, right?
It's just my soul's calling, and so after my business closed in COVID, I tried to go back to corporate. It didn't really work out. Every time I joined a company, they got acquired, and then they shut everything down, and I got laid off. And I was like, why does this keep happening over and over? Okay, I'm not meant to work for somebody. I'm meant to work for myself and go back to entrepreneurship. Yeah. And then start my spiritual business of really helping people, and not just kind of do Reiki on the side and sound healing and volunteering for hospice. Like, I need to do this full time, but figure out how. And like, sometimes the universe shoves you over the cliff when you don't feel like you're ready. You're like, I wasn't ready. I was still working on it. And you're like, nope. So yeah, sometimes you're falling off the cliff because you got shoved, and you have to hurry up and find your parachute. But you find it, and you're always fine, even if it's like the last millisecond. You're like, I always
like the 11th hour.
Yes, and you're like, Spirit, why do you do that to me? So I do many modalities, and it can be remote too, Jem. It doesn't have to be right in front of you, because energy is not linear. You don't have to be right in front of the person for it to receive it. I can be here in Calabasas, Malibu, and then give a remote session to somebody in Guatemala, to Sweden, China. And it's almost stronger when it's remote, because they're not in front of you, talking to you, staring at you, distracting you. Because a lot of the modalities that I do, I have to put myself in a state, like an alpha brainwave state, where I tell them I'm not going to really talk, because I have to put myself in the state where I kind of exit and do my thing. And so a lot of people want to know what's
feedback.
going on.
Getting a little feedback. 1 second. Sorry, Shannon. You're getting feedback. I don't know. It's because we're talking about all the modalities that you're working on. You notice that? It's weird. We're getting.
Yeah, I hear it.
What is that?
Too much energy.
That's really insane. No, I'm not kidding. Oh my God.
Wow. Grandma?
I know. Mom? Who is it, guys? Who's
Mom?
you hear that? It's never happened in any of my other shows. Wow. That's
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Do we need to?
Okay. Oh wow. Yikes. All right, guys. We're gonna put you to rest, guys.
Yeah, let us talk, you guys. Please, Mom, Grandma.
That is so gnarly and weird. Okay. So
it happens when I walk into the rooms, the lights flicker. It just happens.
Yeah, it happens here as well. Oh my God, it's so weird. All right, go on. Let's see. We might have to reset and leave studio and come back. And I will splice them together because this will continue on. I don't know what it is. It's definitely an otherworldly kind of event, like a supernatural pulling of some sort. It feels weird, like tingling. We spaced out all those spirits, and we asked them to go back, and we send light with them, and that's it. Voila.
They're like, I'll talk to you later. Please give me a break.
Right. So we're in the
Give
middle of
Mama
this light streaming, and these ghosts have a funny way of barging in.
I'm like, you were with me earlier, but I need a break. Mom needs a break. Like, go to your room. I'll be with you in a minute.
We put them in the green room.
Yes, cookies, whatever they want, pudding,
brownies,
anything that you want, ice cream.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start at how Reiki drew me in. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So Shannon, can you share how your journey toward becoming an intuitive healer began? Like, was there like a defining moment, a watershed moment, something that took place then drew you into the Reiki? Did it come by happenstance? How did you bump into this whole thing called?
Right. So they say Reiki calls you when it's time, and you will find your teacher when it's time. And I had heard of Reiki. I wasn't sure really what it was about. So I went and got a session by somebody, and I'm like, that's interesting. I felt stuff in my body, and then afterwards, like insights and new creativity. And then I researched somebody who taught Reiki in Colorado, and then I took classes with her, and then went from level 1, 2, and 3. And I swear, it's like, even when you're attuned for level 1, it's like you have wizard hands. You're like, what is going on? And so they open up Reiki within you, and so you become a channel, and you just all of a sudden feel buzzing in your hands, and you like get really hot when it's time to work on somebody. And even now, when I work on somebody, even though my hands feel hot, they'll feel cold on their body sometimes, or extreme heat. And they're like, it was tugging on my left leg, and it's so fascinating. We all have this ability, though, Jim. It's not I'm special and like more special than somebody else. Anybody, I think Jesus even said, like, we all have the ability to heal with our hands. And it's just setting your intention. Yeah, setting your intention towards what you want to do. And so when you get attuned, it just opens up that channel even more. And you're just like, this is fascinating. And people sometimes see colors, like all the colors, a light show in their third eye. They'll feel sensations and energy moving. And so that really, Reiki is like the gateway drug to energy healing. You're like, okay, a lot of people know what Reiki is now. And it's such a beautiful, gentle modality. It helps with like deep sleep and wellness and peace and just an overall sense of well-being. And then that opened up the floodgates to like what else is out there. So so I studied with Zoran and Stephanie, and their modality is called pure bioenergy. And so we have this biofield. It's called an aura or biofield. It's your subtle body. It's your energetic body that goes beyond, and it keeps going. And there's all these different layers to it. And so what pure bioenergy does, that energy field holds the blueprint of your illness. And when there's dissonance in that field, I either add energy to that part of the body or take it away because there's too much, like inflammation, there's too much going on, too much energy. So I pull it out and fling it outside of your biofield. And it helps your body energetically heal in your aura and your biofield, which is a reflection of your body. So when there's dissonance in your field, it's a mirror on your body and you become sick. And so that's, yeah. So I'm
is that like, pardon me, is that like, just to be clear, that's when you say that dissonance, you mean there's energy that's lurking and kind of sitting there idle, doesn't want to flow through your channels, through your meridians, I suppose?
That's part of it. And so that piggybacks to somatic energy healing. So I'll explain a little bit better with that modality I'm learning with Dr. John Amaral. He's like the best of the best with somatic energy healing. And when you have the meridians, you have the central channel, it's supposed to flow up and down throughout your up your head and down your
blockage.
There's blockages. And so as you go through life and you have trauma, traumatic events, emotionally charged stuff that happens and you don't release that energy, it gets stuck in your body.
That's right.
And so the energy can't go up and down. It has to go through the channel like that because there's this stuck, stagnant, dissonant. Sometimes it's dissonant where there's not enough energy, but it's just, it has to go around these channels. And so that creates illness. It creates chronic pain, but it also, which is really interesting, it skews your lens on life. And so say you had a trauma that happened when you're 7 years old and you're viewing life after 7, after that happened, through that lens. And until that energy is liberated, you're going to view life through that lens. Like, let's just say everything's negative and people do this to me and the car accident was their fault and I'm hurt now. And you're viewing life as other people are doing stuff to you and you're kind of in victim mode. And then after that energy is liberated, released, you're like, what? I can't believe I was viewing the lens through these glasses the whole time. And then you can like be free of that and that trauma and not view life through that trauma anymore. Or the little kid who's still holding on to like they were scared at that time and say their dad left and never came back. And so they're living through that trauma. And they can finally be free of that and live their best, authentic, fulfilled life just from that little piece of energy that was stuck in their body from when they were 7.
No, stubborn little sucker.
Stubborn little suckers. But if you embrace that little child and talk to your body and recognize when it's actually like, say you have anxiety and usually you just shut it off.
Occasionally.
A lot of people suffer from anxiety and you shut it off and you're like, I don't have time to feel this right now. I don't want to feel it. I have this to do and kids and work and blah, blah, blah. That gets stuck in your body as well. And so if you lean into it and like, okay, why am I feeling anxiety right now? I don't even know. So you put your hand on that part. Let's just say your chest feels tight. You're like, say it. My chest feels tight. I feel my heart is racing. I'm breathing really hard and I feel hot and I feel anxious. It tells your brain it's safe to feel those emotions. And then it will reveal to you, why are you having these feelings? Oh, I have a memory of that when I was a child. I was ignored by my mom constantly and I felt ignored. And so if it's triggered at this time, you can lean into it. And it's really helpful to imagine your adult self, go back to that space and time, because time is past, present, future is all happening at the same time. We have the ability to go back in time and correct that, whatever you feel like, whatever you feel like it was a disservice
like
at the time.
Or whatever you're calling a snag. And then you go back and sort of correct that. So that you can correct it. So you can go as your adult Jim, go to little Jimmy and
protect him from whatever happened, or tell the parent, don't smack him and he deserves to cry at the time and feel upset. And then you take your little self and you hug him and you tell him he's special, and you tell him that it's okay to have the feelings that he had. And then for some reason, like that imagery, it allows you to release that energy from that space and time. And then that little kid who constantly is feeling anxiety and makes your adult self feel anxiety, that's liberated. And you're like, wow, what? This is all I have to do? And I've spent 20 years in therapy.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, well, it's because it's short-term, healing. It was just like putting no different than just putting slapping on a Band-Aid. Yes. So the short-term, but long-term effects, it keeps coming back to rear its ugly head. Now, I like to interject there and say, I used to be a massage therapist many years ago. Oh, I worked on a lot of people. So I do have, I know a thing or two about healing hands and whatnot, because a lot of the healing, you also pick up a lot of their emotions, a lot of their negativity. A lot of people come loaded, heavy. It's heavy how much burdens are on top of these people. And it's so burdensome for us to work on them, because you come back, and if you don't release all that negative energy, I come out flipping people off in the car. You fucking bitch, watch where you're going.
You're like, why did I just do that? Because you picked up your anger.
You know what I mean? And if you don't honestly shake it off, literally shake it off, and you do, you're supposed to deep meditation. Back in the day, did a lot of that, and introspection, just kind of look from within. It's not you, it's not them, it's them. Let it go, let it go. These people come out feeling like, oh my God, Jimmy, I feel like a brand new me. Oh my God, mother, so great. Here's your money. Have a good day. And I'm the one that's stuck. Well, great.
I should have charged you 3 times, because now I feel like
I'm stuck with all these literally supernatural things that are living in you until you release this energy that you picked up with your hands, Yes. And this is one. Now, number 2, I was going to tell you, I did a lot of, I worked on I opened my third eye, and I found that many a times, I'm able to catch people's thoughts. So
whoa, isn't that cool?
Yeah, you do the same, right?
I don't want to know what you just thought right
now.
So how did you do that? Tell me your process.
Well, so for me, I don't know. I mean, it's been a very a god awful long time, man. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I can't remember, my mind it's been so long, the recollection's not there. But I will tell you what I did many a times. It's so you align the chakras. That's something I did. Align the chakras. And then the other thing was I bathed in Epsom salt. So a lot of salt and sea salt water, and then it helps you purify. And then you breathe, and you breathe. And when you take a deep breath in through your nose, your nostrils, and then you hold it. Then when you blow it out, I think, if I remember, it's like really small, just try to force it, almost like it's taking its time to come out really soft, but you're also concentrating with the emphasis on your third eye, and you start feeling a force here. And one day, guess what? It popped.
It did?
Yeah. I heard it go.
Yes, finally.
I say, yeah, we're here, damn it. We're here, motherfuckers. No, I started going places, and I could take in just weird occurrences. Like you're driving, you see one car in the morning, and then later in the day, you see the same guy get off at the place where you're pumping gas. You're like, holy shit, I saw this car in the morning in another city.
We had that happen when I was in I was going with friends to Marina del Rey, and the same car following us, and this was like 8 hours had passed, I don't know, and it was the same car going home. The same person. It's just like, is there?
No, they were stalking you.
And then you start, the more you notice, the more spirit feeds you, and you're like, whoa, wow, like there's so much out there that people are just, I call them asleep. They're just walking around sleeping because they don't believe in
Shannon,
it.
what about when they're dormant? It's a dormant thing that a lot of these people are dormant and haven't woken up. But you and I would be watching TV. You watch TV, like I was telling my wife the other day something, and I said, "Ain't that a fucking bitch?" And she goes, "Right." And then the guy in the movie goes, "Ain't that a fucking bitch?"
No,
That makes me shut up. It's like that, like. When you say something and then the other person, you hear that. Only people that have been like, like most people, it happens to the common Joe, right? Or the common Jane. But there are occurrences where we pick up on that more so than most people. That's what it is. And we're able to see, like, we're like, wow, that is strange, man.
It is so cool, but then weird at the same time. And as you were saying, when you're a massage therapist, you're an empathic person, you're an empath. And so you feel other people's emotions and you would take it on. And that's where, when you do this type of work, you have to, it's called spiritual cleansing and spiritual hygiene, because I'm the same. And a psychic told me one time, she's like, you can't hide from it anymore, Shannon. Your soul wanted to be empathic, wanted to be an empath, for whatever soul reason that they wanted. Your soul, not them, me. But you have to learn, it's just like taking a shower and brushing your teeth every day. You have to do spiritual hygiene, or else, she goes, she saw all this energy from years and years and years just piled on. And because I hadn't cleared it. And I didn't know why I felt like shit. And I was just like, felt so heavy. And literally my shoulders, I'd walk around like that. And she was like, So what you can do if you are doing this type of work where you're working with people, you can be a nurse, a doctor, a massage, energy healer, whatever. If you're with people, and a lot of times if you do have your hands on people, you create this energetic bubble, like an egg around you. And just ask Source, like, for today, can you protect my energy and not let anybody take it from me or absorb? And then at the end of the day, salt bath, as you said. I was also taught salt bath, Epsom salt, and it just dissolves all the cords that got attached to you during the day. And then, people aren't even aware a lot of the times, but there's some energy vampires out there where they get energy from people like us who are so open and we're empathic, and they will siphon our energy. And we're like, I feel so drained walking away from that person, but they're all, yay, let's go freaking party. And I'm like, because you took all my energy, you fucker.
Fucking
dick, cut that shit out. So you have to block yourself and then do the salt bath. And then in the morning, every morning that when I take a shower, water is just healing as well. So you just imagine like the water dissolving any energetic cords, any stagnant energy, and going down their drain. Trees also, like, go back to the hippie days, actually is true.
Barefooted, right? Hug a tree.
Yes, hug a tree. And because I did really something really stupid in it, but I learned from it. So my current mentor teacher, Dr. Amaral, I was doing this wellness thing at Rafi Lounge in Malibu, and this couple, they're a man and wife, and they're like, oh, we have these crystals, and they're from Arizona. And I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, I'll take a break from my table and go get some crystal healing energy. I don't know. And then she started saying like they're from alien ships and stuff. And I'm like, as I'm holding them, I'm like, ooh, I don't, like, my gut was telling me I shouldn't be here. But then my niceness was like, I can't just get up and leave. Like, she brought me here. I just feel bad. It fucked me up for a week. Yeah. John was like, go to a tree, go cleanse. Him and his wife did stuff on me energetically. And then I got on his table and he was like, ugh. He had to remove energy from me because it opened up so many portals, and then weird beings did come in. I felt like a bus hit me the next day. Like, I can hardly get out of bed. I'm like, I did something really stupid. And he was like, that was stupid. And so, but I learned from it. I will never go and have random people give me crystals or even put their hands on me, because the more energetically sensitive you are, Jim, the more you're going to pick up. So don't have everybody just willy-nilly be like, oh, let me do this on you. Like,
let me touch your head. Wait a minute. Oh, You're absolutely right. There's people out there that, like you ever go to like Hollywood Bowl, right? People are like, hey man, let me see your hands. And I usually go, no. I'm very leery about things like that. I'm also very careful because, like you said, you got to really guard yourself, like put up a safeguard around that aura. It's very important because there's so many folks out there that are going about just vultures, like they're just vampires, energy vampires. They'll rob you blind, and suddenly you feel like attacked, like you got attacked by the adversaries, and then you feel, oh my God, I feel so heavy and tired and drained. That's really what it comes.
And that feeling, it sucks, and then you're like, and then you have to figure out what happened. Okay, I'm gonna sage, and I'm gonna cut cords, and then salt bath, and so you have to go through the motions of like what's happening to me and how do I get rid of it. And then you become more aware. You never want to feel like that ever again. Then you're like, you have to be picky on who touches you and who's in your biofield. And like, you can sense it because you're sensitive and you're an empath and you're intuitive, or even psychic, like whatever label you want to give it.
I do have,
So just be careful of,
Do you find that, what about, when you go out and meet people, are you like, because I have a way of knowing when someone's truthful and someone's just blowing fucking smoke up my ass, It's just a bunch of malarkey blowing on bullshit, fucking psychobabble bullshit's coming out people's mouths. I'm like, shut the fuck up. But I don't want to tell them because like you want to be cool. But, it's very important that you disengage from that kind of stuff because who you invite into your circle of friends, right? Because, it could really do a number on you, and it takes about a week to recover.
And so you can tell right away, just even with their mannerisms, the way they talk, like, just my childhood was very abusive. And so it actually became a gift of mine because I'm hyper vigilant on my surroundings and people, and I can read them really well, where I'm like, even the slightest facial thing that they did and how fast they're talking, like everything, there's a whole lineup. I don't even know I'm doing it. I'm just conditioned that way since childhood. So
like subconsciously.
Subconsciously.
You get a good read.
And then energetically, I'm like, ooh, does it feel good? And I feel myself pulling away, and you don't know why sometimes, because sometimes they're talking, and you're like, God, they seem so nice. They seem so genuine, because some people are really good at pulling the wool over your eyes.
Far from it.
Yeah, it's telling me to go away, get away from you.
It sounds too good. It goes back to the adage, sounds too good to be true. It must be, right?
Yeah, like the snake oil salesman's way back when. It sounds too good to be true. Then it probably is. So you have to listen to that as well.
And listen to yourself, right? Your intuition, your inner self. Like it says, your gut feeling will give you that pang. Like, fuck, this is not right. Or something even, what about like when you have good friends, like you think they're good friendships, but somehow every time you make a plan, it always falls through and doesn't happen. You like a plan to go out, like, friend.
And you're like, it keeps happening with the same person. And
interesting. Red flags. Yeah.
Red flags. And so throughout life, like I was just very much, I just gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I thought everybody told the truth. And then it took me a lot of hard lessons to figure out people aren't. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to become so hard though that I'm like, fuck everybody and everybody's lying. And no, I'm way more discerning now on who's in my circle and who I work with. And you have to be. And that's the beauty of getting older and going through all these lessons. And of course,
it's called wisdom.
It's wisdom. It comes with the gray hair, right? And we earn it. And
I think that, you're a well of knowledge. It's so everything you're saying, it just resonates with me, just so you know. And I'm not blowing it fucking smoke up your ass. I mean, we know when one person understands, the other person also gets, and it's a symbiotic situation, I suppose, where we both work off each other. I'm learning a lot, and a lot of it too is stuff that it kind of brings me back to the fundamentals growing up. When I went into healing, and massage therapy, because it wasn't just massage, like
no, it's you're a healer, and you're because they come in with all these problems too, as you were saying, and they want a massage, but they're coming for much more.
Right.
And your energy is, combining. You don't want it to get entangled, but it still is combining.
Converging. Yeah. I have a question for you, Shannon. So let's talk a little bit real quick because it is almost 25 minutes. We're almost gonna get to the 25th mark, and I'd love to be on here for another hour and a half. So we'll probably have you back, and maybe we'll go in studio. We'll do a full deal, maybe a full.
Oh, I would love to
in person. I'd like to ask you, what are some of the things that people can do, just like freebies? I know you did throw out a few nuggets here and there, but just kind of like meditation, like a simple meditation people can do to kind of set the intention for the day on a day-to-day, day in, day out.
Right. So I'll give you a couple. Gratitude. And I know it's like an overblown word right now, but spirit loves gratitude. And even if you have nothing to be grateful right now, say everything fell apart, your relationship fell apart, you got laid off from your job, your friends don't call you.
Bite your tongue.
Right. You can find something to be like, I have a bed to sleep in. Thank you, God, Jesus, whatever you want to say, spirit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Thank God that I have food in my fridge right now. So thank God I have shoes on my feet. And so you can always find something to be grateful for. So when you first wake up in the morning, find at least 5 things to be grateful for, and then set the tone for your day, because your brain doesn't know the difference between somebody else telling you and you telling you. Wow. So if you want to set the tone, say, well, I'm going to have a fucking awesome day today. Miracles are going to come into my life effortlessly. Abundance is just going to drop in my lap. I'm going to have the best day. I'm going to have so many laughs with my friends. And I am so grateful to be here. And then saying it in the mirror, staring yourself in the eye is even more powerful. And so how you talk to yourself, your brain doesn't know the difference between your mom saying it and you saying it.
So masterfully said.
Wow. At night, say 5 things you're grateful for that day. And even if you have to dig deep, like, thank you for the beautiful moon outside. Oh, Mother Moon.
Thank you for that asshole that got in the way, because he crashed into that other car. It could have been me.
Yes. Thank you that the guy crashed into the other person.
Right. Hit the other car. I mean, it's just to be grateful, because it's not like, by all accounts and, conventional wisdom would say, like, if you're a second late to a job and then you missed the whole thing from happening, that could have been your ass on the line. You could have gotten killed or lost your life. And so that basically means that something saved you in that precise moment. It wasn't your time. So that is a blessing in disguise. I mean, you might be like, what the fuck, I'm late. But you're late. You're able to say you're late. The very fact that the essence that you're able to talk is big. You know what I mean? Like, just that's how I feel about it. So yeah, you should be grateful. I know it's funny, but at the same time, it's true. It's
so
fundamentally true.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you for saying that, because it is so important. I live by that rule as well. And I flew in really late last night into LAX, and I didn't get home till 1 a.m. And I kept like missing stuff and going the wrong way, because I'm used to Orange County, where John Wayne is so small, and I'm like, LAX. I'm like, oh. But anyway, I was like, it probably saved me from getting in a car accident or something else happening. So you just let it go, and you were able to surrender, and knowing you're safe. And then, you surrender, and you're like, this is for my highest and best, even though it seems annoying and I'm frustrated. And so it just makes life easier, and you can just like, oh, hey, I'm going to.
Or you could be stuck in the 405 during like peak hours.
And you're just like, I want to stab my eyes. Yeah. Another nugget I want to say before we get off as well is emotions. And so if, like, say you're stuck in the 405 and you want to poke your eyes out. Okay, you feel the frustration in your body. Notice where you feel it in your body, and be okay with it, and say out loud, this is how I feel. I want to scream right now, and my heart is racing, la, la, la. Emotions are released with tone and vibration, meaning, okay, I feel this tightness in my chest. I want to scream. Taking a deep breath and let it out.
Okay. Yeah.
Tone and vibration. And so it's going to match the force coming out of how you feel inside. So it could be like a And that feels so good just to do that. Or it could be like, I'm going to scream at the top of my fucking lungs because I feel so frustrated right now. And that's matching the force of how it feels inside. And letting it out with tone and vibration liberates that energy from getting stuck in your body, which causes all those issues we talked about earlier.
So it's like a reverberation almost.
Yes.
I feel, okay.
Tone and vibration, just like Nikola Tesla said, the earth, the whole universe is made up of energy, vibration, and tone, vibration, energy, something like that.
Let me ask you one last. Well, let me ask you a couple things right before I'm just trying to just milk as much as I possibly can.
Sure.
How do you combine all? Do you combine if and when do you combine all the healing modes or modalities?
Yeah.
Same thing. Sorry.
So pure bioenergy, that's why it's called pure. When I do pure bioenergy, it's by itself. I cannot do any other modality, and it has to be 4 days in a row, and then it keeps doing its thing for 10 days after, and then I could do another session. But Reiki and somatic energy healing, I do combine. And so I'll do somatic energy healing, which is kind of like the big dogs and releasing that emotion. People like move on the table and they cry, or just, if they need life force, whatever they need on the table. And then I will end it with some nice Reiki and backwash all their chakras, meaning you clear out all the stagnant, stale energy, and then give them fresh energy, and then give them some more Reiki on their head and throughout their body. And it's just like, they're so relaxed. I have to be like, come back to earth when it's time to go. They just go somewhere else because they're so relaxed. But a lot of people need that. They need to like just check out and be at peace.
There's another question, really quick. I'm gonna fire him, man. Just
go ahead.
Quick question. Demystify meditation. Something quick. There's a lot to it. There's just breathing. Listen to the breathing. I mean,
Right. It's not as complicated as you think. So meditation, you can say a mantra. A mantra, all it is a word. You can say peace, and over and over, peace, or love. Or if you concentrate on breathing, like breathing in and breathe out, or you can picture something like sitting on a beach and watching the waves. You don't have to be at the beach, but you can picture that. Yeah. So it's just calming your mind and focusing on one thing. And when thoughts come in, don't be mad. They're supposed to come in. Our left brain is supposed to channel
through you, right?
Yeah. And just acknowledge them and then let them float away. Imagine them like a balloon floating away. And then when the next one pops up, just don't be mad at it. Because there's science behind when they put the electrode things on your head and they study people meditating. Even when they had a million thoughts came in, it still did its thing. Meditation still took you from here and took you down here. So don't feel defeated. Start small. Start at 2 minutes, 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be like a monk for hours.
And there you have it. And now don't be judgmental is what you're trying to say. Also, as far as what's coming through, coursing through your body, just let it go through, right? And let it fly away.
It go through because it needs to come, and don't judge it. Don't
judge it. And then, quick question. So you do, you also have a private practice. You work out of the house. You could do Zooms, you said, and so forth and so on. Do you have is there like a website and your Instagram, social media handles, please?
Yes. And so my website is thegracefulhealer.com. And my Instagram handle is _graceful_healer. And I have a practice in Woodland Hills. And I also have one here in my home in the Malibu Canyon. And depending on where you're at. And then remote. And so somatic energy healing, I do in person, but Reiki, pure bioenergy, and all the other modalities, I can do remote. And so we can do it via Zoom or even phone call. Yeah.
Well, what a treat. You're a blessing to have, honestly, on the show. I know a lot of people, viewership is going to be completely amazed and, thrown away with all the information. I'm coming away with so much, I got to tell you. So beyond blessed. And thank you for being so gracious and coming on, honestly, and just keep on being the best you possibly can. We'll be in touch, and I will have this out in 3 days or so. I want to thank Juan LaPrince for making this happen. Yes. You're a blessing to my heart. God bless you so much, Shannon Grace.
It was
Take
such
care of yourself.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, Jim.
Oh, I appreciate you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, thank you so much for being like who you are too. And
Thank you.
you're a healer and a light worker, as they call them. And
We're purveyors of good and peace and light and healing and blessings.
I know. And the people who are meant to see this and they're going to watch. And then I'm just so happy that they know we're both here to, find healing and support and community and whatever their need. I'm just so happy. So thank you so much.
Wow. There you have it. The Graceful Healer, ladies and gentlemen. That's my show. Almost Famous.
Yay! It was so fun. Thank you, Jim.
Take care. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay. Thank you, you too.
Bye.
All right. Bye.